As people across the state get ready to celebrate the 4th of July, there are still many people in our state struggling from the floods in March.
It's still going to take time for Nebraska to fully recover from this massive natural disaster. Joining us now with an update on this is 1st District Congressman Jeff Fortenberry. Thank you for being here today.
Good morning. Good to see you guys.
Yeah, glad to be home, I'm
Yes,
sure.
absolutely. And looking forward to the 4th tomorrow. We'll be out at Seward and doing a lot of waving.
You will.
That's right.
Shaking hands and seeing folks. That's great. Well, we understand you have some updates for us today due to that flood recovery. How's that going?
Well, first of all, thank you for your continuing coverage. You know, the people of our state did such a tremendous job of pulling together in the midst of this bomb cyclone where you had this slurry of mud and ice and water rush down the Elkhorn and the Platte, blowing out the levee on the Iowa side, creating a 62-foot hole. It's so powerful, it pushed water back up the Missouri, and that's what caused such significant problems for our major military installation off at Air Force Base. So the people of the community have done the hard work, neighbor helping neighbor. We have an obligation to do the same in Congress. We've passed a couple of different pieces of legislation that is going to provide significant help to farmers here, to rebuilding communities, and particularly to off at Air Force Base. So we've got a disaster package now signed into law that helps a lot of America recover from wildfires and hurricanes as well as the flooding. But in addition to that, I'm on what's called the Appropriations Committee. I appealed to my colleagues, both sides of the aisle, and said we need emergency help. And in two tranches of money, two separate tranches of money, we provided help to rebuild infrastructure at Offutt. It's pretty jarring to sit there on the core, the height of the cliff there at Offutt and overlook the base and see it a third underwater. But my colleagues have responded, sending money, additional monies into the system now to rebuild infrastructure, as well as to support the rebuilding of the RC-135's backside infrastructure. That's one of our major intelligence gathering aircraft that works around the world. So that money's not all the way through the system yet. The first tranche of disaster relief is, but I'm hopeful it holds, and Congress has been very sympathetic to our plight. I'm very proud of that.
That's great, and this is some pictures of the levee now being fixed.
Yes.
We saw several pictures there of Offutt being underwater earlier this year. We saw the aircraft that you talked about, and so it's good to see that there's progress being made.
There's real progress here. In fact, I met with the Natural Resource District yesterday, who has made an agreement with the Corps of Engineers to start the levee rebuilding that was almost in progress before the flood, to start it again just as quickly as this summer in July, I think within this month. So that's very helpful. In addition to that, we have monies coming for a new runway that was already in the pipeline. So you'll be seeing aircraft moving to Lincoln, excuse me, temporarily in order to accommodate the new runway, plus the additional monies for infrastructure hurt by the flood and the RC-135 support. There's going to be a new car smell around there in 2020. And so as tragic and horrific as this flooding is, we've gotten to work, and some good things are starting to happen.
How are the small communities doing?
Yeah, well, again, the tremendous outpouring of support and neighbor helping neighbor all across the communities, particularly in the district where I represent, the 1st District of Nebraska, which has a lot of the Platte River Valley all the way up to Columbus, has just been really inspirational. And of course, funding package helps the Corps of Engineers. It helps the watershed program, which builds some of our stream banks, and helps farmers with cleanup. So this is all aligning, but there's still work to do.
And I know the 4th of July tomorrow. What should we keep in mind as we celebrate this day?
We live in a great country. There is a nobility of value here. You know, as many difficulties and tensions that we have, people still want to come to America, and there's a reason for that. Because we create the space for individual liberties. We have systems that are founded in justice. Our challenge, though, as a people, though, is to continue that continuity of tradition, and that's why July 4th is so important.
All right. Enjoy the day with your family.
Good to see you guys.
Yeah, we appreciate it.
Thanks for talking to me.
You betcha. Thanks for coming in today. More Pure Nebraska is on the way.
We're going to check the weather after the break, but first your farm markets.